Okay, so far, so we are here, right? And product detail page. Um, Again, for your project, you need to do the green one. Okay, the black one is something that I've done with you, and you just have to apply, to your, own template. The green one, you have to spend a little more time learning and figuring it out. Okay. Okay, just a second. So today I'm going to talk about product search, and then about login, log out. Search. Search is also one of the very important functionality of online store, online catalog. Um, Instead of having the potential customer navigate through your existing path of online catalog, you can actually provide them with a text box so they just enter a value in the search bar, right? Sometimes when the levels of your categories you know gets deep, it's hard to navigate, and also a lot of time those frequent buyers, you know, already know it's product name, product ID, and, and so on. So they don't have to to just go through that navigation one step at a time, main cat, sub cat, and then sub cat, and then browse the product list in order to find that product. So one person drop out. What happened? So there are three types of search. Okay, three types of search. The first one is one word search, which is the easiest one, right? The customers only enter one word, so we just do it one word kind of match, right? Um, a lot of time, when the customer enter one word, that word may very possibly the product ID. Okay, so when you do a search like this, when you get a value out from that search box, a text box, you have to figure out first, whether there is only one word. If there's one word, you check the product ID first. Right? If there's a match, you then redirect to the product detail page. You don't want to go to category page. Why? Because category page, it's just one more step, right? You have to put, if there's a match, you go to your category page, it's showing just one product, and they have to click to go to see the product details of that product. That's just redundant. So when customer enter one value, one word, first thing you do is check to see if that is product ID, not product name, because product name is longer. Product name consists of multiple words. So if there's a match, redirect them to the product detail page immediately. Okay. If there's no match, then you have to do a like statement to see whether there is a word like that in product name and or product description. It depends on how deep you want to provide your search service. So one word is really not that difficult. It's just usually just one or two, SQL statement you're done. Now multiple words is definitely creating some complexity. If you want to do two word and then what, you want to take two word and then word A and B, right? A B is the one the best match. Then you check A and B. You don't want to just get them A B. Right? So usually you want to provide them better kind of search result. So A B will come up first, okay, and then give them A and B so they can choose, right? And if you have three words, then you have what? You have this A B C. I should put it here A B C, and then A B B C A C, and then A and B and C, right? So you have to do a little bit mutation. In this case, you have 1, 2, 3. Okay. C, A, B, B, C. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 mutations, permutations, right? And then how do you, how do you do your, oh, wait a minute. Let's see, then we delete something. So here it should be A, B, and then how do you, for this one, okay, first of all, how do you create your SQL statement? The best way to do that is you just create one SQL statement, right? So you have AB or A or B, right? And for this 3 words, you have ABC or AB or BC or AC or A and or B or C. You have to create a routine to automatically generate this SQL statement. And if you have more than 3 words, right? And you're gonna have more, combinations. So you just make it more complicated. And the best way to do that is you create a routine, okay, to create, usually it's a function, okay, to create the SQL statement no matter how many words do you have. You can do a routine like that. So whatever it's 3 word, 2 word, 3 word, 4 word, 5 words, you just run a routine to create that long SQL statement. But the problem is when the SQL statement gets too long, and it's going to slow down the process. Okay, so the best search is called semantic search. Semantic search. It's also called full text search. Now, that will involve natural language processing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, or text, whatever technology needed. It's pretty much like Google, right? Google search is full text search. This coming Wednesday, you are going to watch the next PPP video, and that is about search engine optimization. Okay. Then inside, I have a few slides that talk about how Google process their search. It's very, very sophisticated. Normally, if you just if you're a general kind of a normal just online store, you can't afford doing something like this. So this will be the best, right? Semantic research. So in our case here, I would just require you to do 2 words, not 3 words. If you can create a routine, if you want to learn more programming, you want to create a routine, you can go online, you can find something very similar kind of algorithm for you to create a routine that generates a SQL statement for you. So you're only required to do 1 word and 2 words. Okay. So again, there are 3 types of search, right? 1 word, multiple words, and semantic search. Now we're going to do this 1 word and multiple words. 1 word, multiple words. We only do 2 words. So this is the logic. Okay. When the customer enter a word into the text box, the search text box, you figure out whether there's 1 word or 2 words. If there's a 1 word, all right, you wanted to check to see if there is a match for this, for this word. So you basically assume that word is a product ID. If there's a match, redirect to product detail page and show that product. If there's not, if that is not product ID, then it creates single a SQL statement. Just search 1 word, okay, and then you want to do a live statement, search your product name. right? But you can step up to do product name plus description. It's up to you. Remember, always remember, okay, that programming is really a game of practice. The more you practice, the more you do, the better you are. Okay. Of course, I cannot ask too much because we're doing something like learning by example. Okay, and this is your first class learning HTML.NET. So I'm asking minimum plus something you can do to upgrade yourself. All right. So if so you check to see there's just one word or two words. If it's two words, you immediately go to the second one, and then create what? Create A and B, SQL statement using the like, and to check your to try to find matches in your product name, for example. Okay, all right. Now let's do the search. Now, first of all, I want to show you, where we were, in terms of the page itself. How this is already running. Okay, so here we have, desktop, and you know, I run it, and then I close my Visual Studio, so I have to run it again. Okay, just a second. Just a second. All right, so from here, main, it's what do I have this? Main cap. No, I don't think I'm running the right thing. Just a second. Let me start from my Visual Studio. All right, Visual Studio. Okay, in Visual Studio. Here. And let me run default.spx in browser. And then show you the browser. Right, can hear desktop, right? And you have this. Now, we want to do search, right? So where do we place the search text box? Is it in the master page or every single page?
Master page?
Master page, right? 0.5 point for you. So what we need to do is we need to go to the template master page and then figure out a place where we put the search box in. All right, so let's go to Visual Studio, okay? And then template master is here. And let's do a search to find a search. What happened? It's here, okay? Now in a 3-column division, we have that original design, the search. So it's using a division and with class search box pull right. And this is what, this is just print HTML. We want to use, web control, a text box control and also a button, okay? So what we do is we are going to this. All right, so first of all, we probably don't need the original because we're not going to use it here. that class basically controlled the appearance of this input box. What we need to do is we're going to enter our own text box. And also a button. And call this TB search string. And this is BTN search. All right, and then here we'll just call that go. Okay. So we have this. I have that. Now, I'm going to run it and show you, okay? And then I want to intentionally show you in the state, that we usually, make. All right, so let's run this page again. So here, see here, we have this text box. Of course, we can make it smaller, all right, and go. We're not using the original template CSS to make it look different. So we'll take an easy route, all right. Of course, you can make it look a lot better. You can also use their, CSS to make this box look better, okay. So right now, let's say I just want to give it a try, okay. I'm going to type something. Let's say type Dale. Click go. You see you have a mistake like this, an error like this. It says, invalid postback or callback argument. When this happens, usually that remember we use a web form. And there's a problem with postback, right? So this is, this is category that is fixed. We post back the category, but there's a problem. Now, so what is the problem? I'm going to show you. And make sure that when you work on your own template, you also do the same thing. I think when I do the ASP.NET introduction, I told you that ASP.NET basically using web form. Right? Every web form is like a window. A web form can only have one form tag. So this is a template master, right? A lot of time, for HTML page, you can have more than one form if you want. So a lot of time you see an HTML page, maybe on top you have a search box, that's one form, and somewhere on the right hand corner there's a login, and there's another button there, and that's another form. HTML allows you to have multiple forms, so you can have multiple form tag, but not for the web form. Web form you can only have one form. The reason is ASP.NET want to simulate the processing like a window program. So we'll do a search. I'm going to do black bracket form. You can see the first one is form. This is the one we want, right? Run a server. That's the one we want. But if you keep looking for it, okay, that's wrong. Should be form, not from. Right? You see? Okay, I'm going top again. Let me go top again. Let me go from here. So we have this, it's web form, run a server, and you go down. You see there's another form. This cannot exist. That's the problem. Why you create that kind of callback problem. So what you need to do is just delete it. Of course, we're not using this here, right? In the future, if this is, you have to use it, and you can just convert this input, a text box into text box into a web control text box, and we'll see whether there's anything. No. Okay. Now there's only one. That's good. Okay. So now let me see. Let me run this page one more time. View in browser. Okay. Now, it does not create that error message. It just doesn't, do anything because we don't have any code behind to do it yet, right? We haven't done any, event procedurals for this goal, event, right? But at least we fixed that problem. So go back to your template. Make sure, your master page only has one form, and that has to be the web form, run app server. All right, so let's go back to Visual Studio. Right now, what we need to do is we need to write a few lines of code to process the search. Right. So let's go to the design. See if we can find that search. It's not easy to find that search. Okay, so it's hit hit F7, and we go to the code behind for this template master, and then inside, we want to create a event for the button called goal, right? In that case, over here, choose this button search, and then choose the type of the event, which is click, and then we have it here. Okay. Now, what we need to do is, first, we need to make sure there is a value inside that search string text box. If there's no value, don't do anything. So same thing, we need to have a flag like that, right? So in this case, we're going to do this. We're going to do request.form. It is not request.query string. I will explain, in a second. The request.form, and this one is, I believe that the name of that is no, it's not. I'm sorry. Is if TB, okay, search string dot text not equal to blank. Then we're going to do something. Okay, what are we going to do? We are going to do we need to figure out if the string is one word, right? Okay, and then if it is one word, search for product. In this case, product number. It should product number, because they don't usually memorize product ID. And product ID is just a sequential number controlled by a SQL server. A product number I can usually remember. On the invoice, on the order, they always have a product number. And product table, in the product table. If, okay, yeah. If yes, redirect to product detail.aspx. I'll show you how do we do that. No. Okay. Redirect to category.aspx. Okay. So you know the logic, right? You understand the logic first. All right. So what we're going to do is let's create the such string str as string. do this here. We all set. Declare it, and then we'll use it. And this, what? Equal to what? Equal to this. We'll get it from, the text property of the text box. But we still need to check to see if, the search, box is, there's only one word, right? Here's a hint. Use, a function. In this case is that check if the string has a space, right? But of course, at the very beginning, you need to trim the, you need to trim this string so there's no space. So if this string has no space in there, that means what? It means there's no, there's just one word, right? So let me do this. Let me put it here. All right, if there's no, so I will do it here. So you can actually, so let me do this one. Okay, you're going to do trim. Okay, trim, you have left trim and right trim. If we do trim, you'll just, trim, the beginning and the tail end. Okay, and then, I'm going to leave it for you. Okay, I'm going to leave it for you so you can, figure out how do you find out if there's just one word. Remember, the hint is using, a function. Look for the function that you can check to see if the string has a space or not. Okay, and different language has different function. A lot of time, it's a very common, function is called in string, right? In string, and then parentheses, and the first value is the text string. String, search string and comma, and what do you want to match? And you want to match the space. Okay. What do you mean by space? Quotation, space, quotation. That's a space. Okay. And if it is one word, we're going to search, problem, and here, what are we going to do here? And, all the database code. Remember, last time we talked about this product detail ISPH page. We learned, all these line of code in order for us to handle the database. Okay. So over here, you need to do something like this. All right, and in your SQL statement is going to be select everything from product, where product ID equal to, and no IDs, go for the number equal to search string, TP search string dot text. So I'm going to do some work here. In other words, the free with database connection string three objects. Okay, and the SQL statement is like select everything from product where product number equals to, okay, equal to what? Search string. Okay, if yes, right? If yes, and then what? We're going to redirect to product detail page, and this is the code response. No, we're going to do it like this. Then CR redirect, okay, and as string equals to and then we're going to say redirect to product detail ASP page question mark, and then search string equals to, we're going to concatenate it with string search string, and response redirect now. I already typed this code for you. You just use it, okay? But here you need to write the right, syntax, okay? Because here you need to do ampersand, and so on and so forth. So again, all right. So if there's one word, search for product number and the product table. So you write all the database code with the database connection string and three object, which is again all these kind of things. All right, and then you just execute it. Your SQL command to see whether that product exists or not. If it exists, we want to redirect to product detail SPX page, and we declare a string variable, and then we build that, to assign the value to that string variable, okay? And that is product detail ASPX page question mark search string equal to whatever in the search string text box, which we already have here. And then how do we redirect? Which is response that redirect, okay, and then whatever you want to redirect. In this case, is this. So in other words, whenever your original page already, you may be at default.spx page. You may be at the view card.spx or any page at all, whatever. From there, you can redirect to ASP.NET to any other pages without the users involved. So this is actually executed at server side, right? So this is really a flexibility for the programmer at the server side to do what they want. So they don't just always rely on the page that is being requested by the client. Whenever the client make a request, they're just waiting, and it's up to you on what you want to do. And you just process it, go to this page, go to that page. When you're done, send everything in HTML format back to the client. So this is just another good example of, hey, we're not going to do this, to fulfill the request, what the user wants, at this point, inside this template master. we actually need to go to product detail page. So we, at runtime, at server side, respond redirect to product detail page. And then that product detail page need what? Oh, okay, now here it's wrong. Okay, I should say product ID. In other words, here, okay, let me add one more thing here. Get here's one more thing. Get the product ID from the data reader. You guys remember, okay? Now, in order to do database, we have connection string, we have three, object. One is connection object, the second one is command object, the third one is data reader object, right? So you have the SQL statement, and then you instantiate the connection. So and then by telling the constructor what is database connection string. And then, you execute, the SQL statement, SQL command. You substantiate, the command product object by giving it the SQL statement and also the connection object. And then you open the connection, and then you run the execute reader method of the command object. Okay, once executed, this will be run. All right, and then you're going to have a result stored in this data reader. Okay, so the end result of all these operations is the data reader. Then you can work with the data reader. You can see whether there is anything inside or not. Right. So same thing out here. Once you execute all these, if yes means there's a match, then what? At that time, you can go to the data reader and get product ID. You don't want to get product number. Product number is what they remember, what user, what your customer remember. And internally, you need to search for ID because your product detail page use product ID, right? You guys remember, right? So let me show it one more time. See here, your desktop. Okay, if you want to go see product detail, you click one of the product, and it's actually using this query string product ID, not product number. So here you need it. So this is not search string, okay? I was wrong. So she said product ID. All right, so we just redirect to product detail SPX with this, as input. And then when product detail SPX is run, right? And that is here. This is going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same. You request the query string, same thing. Because over here, we are transfer that process, product ID through the query string. So you don't need to change any code, in this, product detail page. This is, when this is true, you'll run. Now, if no, we're going to redirect to category.spx, right? And then same thing, we need to let me do it like this, else. Okay, if yes, else. And then what do you do? Same thing, let's do the three thing. Now, this is actually redundant. So if this is being used, more than once, you can actually move it out of the if-else block. Okay. For now, I'm just lazy. Okay. Just let's be clear again. And now it's going to be what? Category.spx. Category. And here is NetProd ID. It is just such a string. Okay. And then when this page receives it, here. Yeah, okay, let me see what time. There you go. I can do it. Okay. Now, let me just give you, the logic, okay? Now, so from here, we redirect to category ISPX with a string, search string. So inside your category ISP.VB, I'm going to type it. If, let's copy this. Request a query string. Such string is not blank. And we're gonna do pretty much the same thing here. Okay, now so let me just this. So let me copy this. Now, we don't need this main category, the ISPX. We're not handling it. And we don't need this, this subcategory either. Here, we only want to show, the result on the right-hand column, and then it is, SQL data source product list. Let me go back. It is here on the right-hand side, right? Here we have this. Okay, I don't have it here yet. It is your, it's part of your homework. Okay, part of homework. So on the right-hand side, no, just a second, it's not, okay. Okay, yeah, repeater here, right? So, category, that's so it is this, right? Repeater product list, okay? And it has a data source, it's a SQL data source product list. So what we need to do is we need to do the SQL data source product list, to redo the select command. Now select everything from product where subcategory ID. Subcategory ID equals to no, it's not subcategory ID. It's we're not showing product. Okay, let me just copy that so I don't have to type, a long string. Just a second. Just a second. All right, so it is. Okay. Select everything from product where product name. Now we're checking product name. Like statement. All right. Because we're going to concatenate with string, so it's single quote. And remember, after like, you need to have a percentage sign, right? And double quote, ampersand, request a query string, search, string, and then we need to close out. So we need to close out this, percent sign, and also the single quotation for the text, and at the end is double quotation for the whole string. Okay, and so when you come in, to this category SPX, first we're going to see whether there's a main category. If there's no, there's whether, if there's a such when it come in, there's a such a string. Then what we are going to to display the whatever result from this SQL statement. At the same time, remember that on top, the list type, we didn't do what? We needed to do search result for and then just concatenate it with string. Right? And for your project, let me do this. Let me comment it out. This create main and display. Category. And this is process display search result. And of course, for your homework, you need to display the product list or the select subcategory. Here, let me just write it for you, to save you some time. You need to do what we need to do here. It's pretty similar, right? You just have to, to reconfigure, the select command, and then and also the change the value for the text of the product list type. Okay. All right. So again, from here, you search. Figure out if the search string is one word using the ASP.NET function, and see if the string in has a space or not. If it is, okay, if it is one word, right, we're going to search for product number in the product table to see if there's a match. And how do you do that? All your database, code, line of codes, okay, and then write your SQL statement, execute it. And if there's a match, redirect, to product detail ASP page. And this is what you did. Otherwise, redirect, to category ASP page. This is what you did. And at the end, okay. So what you do is when you download, I'm not done yet. Okay, I have something else to do. When you download, okay, today's the zip file, try this first. Try this first before try it on your own template. Write all the own code in there. Okay. Next Monday when we come back to the Zoom, I will give you more hint, but you really have to work on it. Okay, you really have to work on it. There's one more thing I want to do. I don't think I can do the login log out, so we will do that later. I want to do this. It's a main category string generate at runtime. Okay. So what I mean is, here. You see here, product here. This is actually we use data source, SQL data source, and then we have a repeater, data bound control. and this one basically just a a data bound general control called drop down list. I'm going to use here to create something like this. Okay, something like this, without using single data source and repeater. We just write a whole HTML. And so what we need to do is in the now this is not your homework. I just want to demo to you so you see how it is done. In the template master page, up here we have product 2 here, right? Okay. So over here, I already have a label, okay? Label main category here. And then how do we do this? How do we know? Oh, this is actually what, in here, we need to create something like this, right? The product number one here, a product here, we're using a single data source and a repeater. Once this is executed, we have a data reader containing those 3 main category, and then bind this repeater to this single data source, and we have it. We're using item template to repeat 3 alike. And here we don't use single data source. We don't use this data bound control, and we just want to write this 3 times, okay, and then insert that as a value to this label control. Okay, and then what we need to do is in the template master code behind, inside this page load, we need to do our own database, right? Because we're not using a single data source. So again, every time we need to do database at the very beginning, you need to import 2 classes. One is data class, another one is SQL client. And in here, okay, now I'm gonna do the copy and paste. Okay, it's just so many lines. So let me go into here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is like this. Okay, now for this, code behind this, it's a master page code behind. We are going to use, this string, the data, connection string many times. So it's good that we declare outside of every single, event, every single event. So what we need to do is we do this. So when you do yours, you don't have to write this again. So outside of this, outside of every single, event, you create a public variable string connection, and then this is the same. So when you have that, and then every page load event, every event you can share it. Now here, okay, now connection object, command object, data reader object, and the SQL statement is select everything from category where parent equals 0, because we wanted to display main categories, and then create the category connection, create the category command object, okay, and then open the connection, and then we execute, and then we have this data reader main category. All right, so we're going to, this time we're going to do a do while, use a do while loop, and loop through this data reader called dr main category until there's nothing. every time we have, a main category, we are going to construct the whole, HTML string, right? And we actually declare that variable, and assign a blank, the value to it before we use it. And then this string variable, string main category equals to string main category, and then li href. We're not going to do something in here, okay? This is right now is blank. Concatenated with what? With whatever in the category name. This is actually from the data reader, right? And then close it with a tag, close it with li tag. And when you're done, you just assign a value to the text, the property. Then you have it. Okay. Right now, I want to try it, but I want to make sure okay, because I do a lot of comments, so I want to make sure I don't have anything that creates some problem. Yeah, it looks like it went fine. Okay, so I'm going to run it now. So go to browser. There we go. So if you can see here, product number 2, it's have the same thing, right? Same thing. Okay. What you need to do, I'm going to talk about what you need to do, okay? Let me go to Canvas. Just a second. Allow me, it's a two-step kind of verification. So I'm logging into Canvas. All right, so let me share with you the Canvas. Where's my Canvas? Where is it? Okay. Okay. Online store project number 1, product catalog, talks about what you need to do, right? And so this is what you want to do. And basically you can use, the product online store, development project guide to figure out what you need. All the green part is what you need to do. Okay, all the black part you just implement it using my code to your own template. Okay, we're not here yet. Log in, log out is something later. Okay, so so you need to do everything here. And this is just give you a high level what you need to do. So it's better that you use the development light guide, development. Okay, I always can spell it out, the name of that document. Just a second. It's called Online Store Development Project Guide. Okay. And then it's coming Wednesday. It's going to be a lecture. It's a video day. And that is going to be module number 5. if I go to the syllabus,